As Americans, what if the way we think about burritos is all wrong? Fat, overstuffed burritos with rice, beans, cheese, meats, condiments, salsas. But what if instead of a fat, oversized burrito, you made a skinny long one with maybe 2 or 3 ingredients? Then you would have the original burrito, the burrito that started it all and paved the way for the California Mission style burrito that we all know and love. Thick, pillowy tortillas, perfectly stewed meat with a smear of rich and creamy pinto beans, rolled long and skinny. This is Burritos Juárez. Now, with only a few ingredients, the quality of those ingredients matter. So when I got up this morning, I just took some pinto beans, dried, so we can ensure the highest quality of refried bean that we can achieve at home. Get them into a bowl, cover them with water, and then add some salt. And then we're gonna allow that water to rehydrate the beans, and that salt is going to prevent them from splitting and shriveling up, which can happen as they soak. Now, you can let this go overnight, which is preferable, but after a few hours, the soaked beans have almost doubled in size. That's going to allow the beans to cook in roughly the same amount of time it's going to take our pork to cook. And if you see any stuff floating at the top, it's usually like a skin or a dead bean. You can just remove them. Now, the filling we're going with today is a pork that's gonna be stewed in red chilies. So first we need to make like our red chili braising sauce. The 2 chilies in question is guajillo. These are more mild and they have a nice red color. It's gonna give a nice red hue. And then chili de árbol for spice. And we're gonna only use about 4 chili de árbol, maybe 10 chili guajillo. And then here I've got some chili California, which are, just have a nice red hue to them. They're in my chili bag and they're kind of old, so I just wanna use them. You can just stick with guajillo. Then all I wanna do, rip off the tops and then get the seeds out. You can wash the chilies too, might be a little dusty. We're gonna cover it with some hot water, let them soften. In the meantime, we can prep some garlic. We're just gonna smash it. I'm just gonna cut the top and the bottom off of the onion, cut it in half, peel that skin off, and just cut it into like little wedges. So this is gonna be the base. We've got onion, garlic, our chilies, and then I'm gonna add a little caldo de pollo. Now we just wanna get these onto the stove and char them up a little bit. First up, I'm gonna get a deep saucier onto the stove on medium-high heat and just give it a quick little spray with some cooking spray. Once it's hot, we can start to add the onions and the garlic. We just wanna cook the onions and the garlic until they begin to char around the edges. That char creates a nice little smokiness into the sauce, helps develop a nice rich flavor. And then once you start to see some nice charring and browning on the onions and garlic, then we can go ahead and just add in those chilies and the water that they're soaking in. We can season that with some salt, and then we can bring that up to a boil, and we're just gonna cook this until the onions soften, the chilies are nice and tender, and everything is soft enough to blend into a nice smooth consistency. Now we can go ahead and add in our caldo de pollo cube. It's just like a chicken stock cube. It's a little bit of a secret I see a lot of Mexican recipes use. I don't imagine it's particularly traditional in this recipe, but I like to add it. Just a little bump of flavor. While that cooks, we can start on our beans. We can get a small pot, get that onto medium-high heat, and add in the beans and the water that they're soaking in. I'm gonna go ahead and add in a smashed clove of garlic, a bay leaf, and a little bit of salt. Now we just wanna bring that up to a boil. Once it comes up to a boil, we can drop it down to a simmer, place a lid on top, and then we're just gonna slowly cook these for hours until they're nice and tender. We're gonna move that to the super low burner. And as you can see, we're almost done. I'm just waiting for that like thick white to kind of cook out of the onions, and then we're ready to puree. Once all the onions kind of look like that, we're ready to go. Now we are here in the dead of winter in quite possibly the hardest winter for me to get through. I'm on the brink, I'm cracking. And usually I just white knuckle it through, push it deep down inside. But now I express things, thanks to our sponsor today, BetterHelp. BetterHelp makes starting therapy easier and much less intimidating for a lot of people. Now, I haven't always had good experiences in therapy. I'm a bit of a homebody. I don't like leaving my apartment. You're always sitting in a waiting room, the appointments are always late, just an uncomfortable situation. With BetterHelp, you can get matched with one of over 30,000 therapists in their network based on your needs, preferences, and location, which gives you access to a wider range of expertise that may not be available in your area. To get started, you just fill out a questionnaire that will ask you questions about what challenges you're going through and what kind of therapist you'd like. And BetterHelp's gonna go ahead and match you with a therapist, in most cases within 48 hours. Then you can schedule therapy sessions at a time that's convenient for you. And if you don't love your therapist, you can request a new one at no additional charge anytime. So if you're curious, head on down to the link in my description, betterhelp.com/notanothercookingshow, and BetterHelp's gonna give you 10% off your first month. Let's get back into the recipe. Now, as we can see, everything is nice and soft, stewed down. Now we just wanna puree this and get that all in there, liquid and everything. Just gonna allow this to cool down before we blend it. You can also throw an ice cube in there. Should be cool enough. Beautiful chili sauce. So now for the pork, we've got our chili sauce we're going to braise it in. We have lard we're going to fry it in. And then we got 2-3 pounds of pork that I've cubed up, I've salted, and let this dry overnight. So we're gonna get a really beautiful sear on this. And now we're gonna let this cook real long and slow, so we might as well get started. I've got the oven preheated to 325 degrees, so we're gonna get it started on the stove, finish it in the oven. So first we wanna do is preheat our Dutch oven really well. And once it's hot, we're gonna take some of that lard and we're gonna add enough to coat the bottom of the pan. Then we're gonna take our chunks of pork and we're gonna place them fat side down first. And we're gonna take our time and slowly allow these to get really nice and brown on that first side. Allow that fat to render down. Once it's browned, give them a flip. And the goal here is we're just trying to brown as well as we can every side of the pork. Once we've gotten about 90-95% of the way there, we're gonna toss in some whole garlic cloves and allow those to start to caramelize in the pan and build a base of flavor. And then once all of the pork is nicely browned, we can go ahead and add in our red chili sauce. Just gonna rinse out the blender so I can thin that liquid out a little bit to compensate for the long cook. Then we're gonna bring it up to a simmer, place a lid on, and then pop that in a 300-degree oven. But we are gonna check on it occasionally, and at around 3 hours, take the lid off. Forgot to add something. Forgot to add a little Mexican oregano, or Mediterranean if you got it. Just a little bit, not too much. And then 2 bay leaves, back into the oven. Now, of course, we have to make some perfect, fluffy, thick, pillowy flour tortillas. And you could do this by hand, but it's easier in a food processor, and all it takes is 4 cups of all-purpose flour straight in. And then I've got about, recipe says half a cup, but a little bit over half a cup, borderlining 3/4 of a cup of lard. Just sort of makes it nice. A little bit softer, a little bit more flavor. Then about like a teaspoon of salt, nice pinch. Like a pie dough, we're just gonna get that on and pulse it. Trying to mix that fat into the flour. You could use a little bit more lard. If you were doing this by hand, you would just be breaking up that lard. So just like a pie dough, you can kind of squeeze it and it holds together. That's now primed for the liquid. I've got some hot water here, about a cup, and I'm just gonna start to stream it in until a dough ball sort of rides the blade. See that? That's what you're looking for. Be slightly tacky, soft, not dry. The key to a tortilla is the right amount of moisture so that when it cooks, it puffs. Those air bubbles kind of steam the inside. That's how you get it soft, flavorful, pillowy, tender. Just gonna knead it a little bit. Gonna pop it into a bowl, and we just need this to rest and relax. About 30 minutes, and then we can start to portion out the dough balls. And I think we're up to speed. We're gonna let this chill. Now it's been 30 minutes. We can get it out, get our scale. We're looking for 85-gram balls. And then we're gonna just roll them up into a ball, almost like a little pizza, little ball like that. Now the size is important because I want them long and skinny, but not too thin where they don't hold up. So there's a thickness I want and a size. We're going with like a 10-inch flour tortilla. We can just place them on a tray, and then we're just gonna let these relax so that we can roll them nice and thin and make nice fresh tortillas. Now our beans, they're nice and done. Tender, aromatic, seasoned. I mean, I was never a real bean kid, but like, man, when you do it right, it really is good, just as is. Now I'm gonna take out about a cup or so of our nice cooked beans. Then we're gonna add the rest of the beans and the liquid to a blender. And just like with pasta fagioli, we're gonna puree this, add the whole beans to it, and one of the core flavors, again, I know we're using a lot of it, is the lard. Take about 2 tablespoons. A little lard never hurt nobody. And then puree it up. Now to make the refried beans, I'm gonna get a small pot on the stove. I'm gonna get it hot, and again, I'm gonna add some lard to it. Now these beans need a lot of lard, and that's kind of the base of the flavor. Pour that creamy bean mixture in, allow those beans to sort of fry in that lard for a few minutes. And then we can go ahead and we can add the whole beans into the mixture. That is a beautiful, creamy, refried beans that is creamy, but also has a little texture and pop from whole beans. You could serve this creamy like this, but we're gonna let it sit on the stove. We're gonna thicken it up a little bit. I'm just gonna cover it and move it off to the side on a super low burner. Now as a condiment, they might put salsa verde, lime, pickled jalapenos, carrots. I'm gonna add my personal touch to this aspect of it. I'm gonna make probably the best sauce on the channel, which is the cilantro sauce. From our old food truck, a sauce my brother made up. Very simple. We're gonna take some cilantro, toss it into a blender. We're gonna take some chives, 1 bunch, throw them into the blender. Got some green onions. I'm gonna cut the greens off into the blender. Jalapeno, I'm just gonna slice off the cheeks. 2 limes juiced. You want that lime to be pretty present. A little neutral oil. I've got some algae oil here. Tablespoon or 2 of agave. Maybe 2 tablespoons of mayo and some salt. And then we puree it. Let's see if we got enough liquid in there. You just want to blend it till it's nice and creamy. A high-powered blender is great to get all those fibers pureed up nicely. It still hits. If you haven't seen the grilled cheese recipe associated with this, I'll leave a link down below. Get that into a squirt bottle. This goes great on anything, particularly Mexican food. Now it's been about 3 hours, and we're cooking this for another hour or so. Just gonna remove the bay leaves, and we're gonna pull out that pork. Succulent, falling apart, it's beautiful. And you can shred it up with your hand, chop it up. Remove any excess fat if you see it. But you want to keep some of that in there for sure. That all goes back into the pot. And so now what we're gonna do is take all that shredded pork and mix it into the sauce. Now I just raised the oven to 425. I'm gonna add this back into the oven and allow it to slightly brown, reduce, and that sauce to sort of glaze all of the pork. And every 15 minutes, I'm gonna give it a stir. And after another 40 minutes or an hour, it should be done. The pork should be succulent, soaking in that red chili sauce. It shouldn't be swimming in the sauce. It should almost be glazing around the meat. That's the perfect consistency. Now we're in good shape. Just about everything is done. Now we can move on to the tortillas. So this is how we're gonna get a nice round one. We're gonna start with one of these balls and we're gonna go around and flatten it. Using your fingers in your palm on one hand and then your fingertips on the other. Make it nice and even. We're just working it into a nice circle, getting like a real nice base of a shape. Dip it one more time onto the board. And this is where like our pasta training is. You've ever rolled pasta dough out fatto a mano with your hands? We're gonna just go out, turn a quarter, roll, turn a quarter, and we're just gonna do that until we get a nice round shape. We only really want like a 10-inch piece. Move that over and we can work on another one. I like to do around 3 at a time because they cook in like 30 seconds. Now we need our pan nice and hot, around 350, 400. So we can get some nice kind of browning on the surface of this. To cook the tortillas, it's very simple. We've got a large cast iron pan. Once it's hot, into the dry pan, we're just gonna drop one of the tortillas. If you added enough fat and water, what you're gonna see is the tortillas start to instantly bubble up. We don't wanna cook them slow, we wanna cook them hot and fast and allow that steam to create that puff. After about 20 to 30 seconds, there should be a little bit of color on the underside, and we wanna just flip the tortilla, hit the other side, and you're gonna see it start to puff up even more. You can press down in some areas and you'll see that sort of helps cook it and puff up a little bit. And then I like to do one last flip. That last flip should kind of get every last inch of the tortilla nice and steamed, and then we can pull it off and wrap it in a towel and allow the towel to steam and soften it and make it nice and pliable so we can roll it into burritos. Then we're just gonna repeat this with the rest of the tortillas. And remember, you could roll it out a little thicker, you could roll it super thin. That's kind of up to you. I actually like that pillowiness of a thicker tortilla. Once they're done, we're ready to make our burritos. So here we got our tortillas. Now 10 inches yields a little bit of a thinner one. I like the 8.5, it's nice, thick. You can also sort of cater it to the size and thickness you want at the end of the day. Now I'm gonna show you how to make like the most traditional way of rolling one of these guys. First you go on with some beans right in the center, leave some overhang on the sides, meat right on top, and then they kind of just fold it in half like that, fold it over, and then just once. And that's your basic burrito. Small, better. It's the equivalent to like a New York bacon, egg, and cheese. You can walk on it on the go, it's not a mess, it's not dripping everywhere. You've got rich, creamy bean flavor with that intensely stewed beef. Such a great combination. Hit it with the green sauce. But the way we're gonna show you today, same idea, beans, a little line of the meat, but this time we're gonna take it closer to the edge, fold it completely over, and then bring it back to tighten it up, then fold it over, tighten it up again, and then hold it off to the side, seam side down, and then just repeat. And you create like a little assembly line, and you could bang out a bunch real quick. Now, of course, you could just eat these as is, or you could toss them on a plancha in a pan and crisp them up, create like a little, perfect little thing. So now we've got our griddle preheated. I'm gonna take a little bit of lard and just spread a thin layer across the surface of the griddle, and then we're gonna start to lay down our thin cigar-like burritos, seam side down, and allow it to sort of seal up. Brown the outside of the tortilla, get some nice spotty caramelization. Once we've got it sealed and that first side is brown, we're just gonna rotate it onto 4 sides, and I like to almost square off the sides of the burritos if possible. Now there's no cheese or anything in there, and everything inside the burrito is hot, so all we're looking for is sealing of the burrito and nice crispy caramelization around the tortilla. Once they're done, you get them off, rest them on a wire rack, and if you got another batch of tortillas, get them on the griddle and cook those off as well. I mean, I just want my burritos to hold in my hand like this. I want it like a microphone. I think this is how every burrito should be. It's clean, nothing's falling out of it. It eats well. It has texture. It's not just mush. It's not carb on top of carb on top of carb. It's a nice, light meal. Oh my God. You wanna make the original burrito? Recipe's gonna be down in the description. You wanna get better at cooking? Go check out the Patreon down in the description. Every video is early and ad-free. We also run a cooking school over there. Interactive, fun, live streams, chats, homework, the whole 9 yards. That's all that I have today. I'll see you guys next time. Until then, take care of yourself and go feed yourself.